tell you, I've always wanted my own talk show, maybe called Sherri. I don't know. Because I love to have fun. I love people feeling good. When I tell you the battles, people don't understand. When we are in power, the battles we gotta fight that you will never know about. Never. To keep a show on the air.
Y'all, Wendy Williams was and still is on top of everyone's game. Ever since Sherri Shepherd took her daytime slot, Wendy has been itching for it to crumble.
They reported, y'all, that things are finally looking up, y'all, for Wendy Williams. And they're saying if the signs are right, they're saying 2026 could be her biggest year yet. Now, they say just one day, honey, after the news broke that her daytime replacement, Sherri Shepherd, is being canceled after 4 seasons. It's being reported, y'all, MTO has learned that producers are actively, y'all, working on a plan to bring Wendy Williams back, y'all, to tell.
Y'all, this isn't just daytime TV drama. This is a full-blown television assassination. One woman fell. Another took the throne. And now the queen is whispering from the shadows that she's ready to take it all back. For years, cameras captured polished smiles and polite applause. But behind those studio lights, bitterness, betrayal, a silent war that never made it to commercial break. Wendy Williams may have played nice in public, but insiders are saying she never forgot how her chair was taken, how her time slot was handed over, how her empire was rebranded without her permission. And now, Sherri Shepherd's show is gone. Cancelled. Erased from the lineup like it never existed. Coincidence? Or karma moving in silence? Sources claim Wendy has been watching, waiting, calculating. They say she believes Sherri was never meant to be her successor, just a temporary placeholder in a power move gone wrong. The ratings couldn't recreate the chaos. The audience couldn't fake the loyalty. Because love her or hate her, nobody delivered shockwaves like Wendy. But here's where it gets explosive. Whispers inside the industry suggest Wendy's guardianship could end soon. And if that door opens, the network may be ready to restore the throne, bigger budget, bigger platform, and a comeback engineered like a resurrection. This isn't gossip anymore. This is revenge television. The real question is, when Wendy says she's coming back, is she reclaiming her crown or burning the whole kingdom down?
Okay, so Sherri Shepherd. Sherri.
Your privacy has always been important to me, and I would never say something that you didn't say, but I know that if you look at me, then clearly the world will know that you've already had the forbidden fruit.
Cancellation of Sherri Shepherd's show after just 4 seasons feels bigger than one talk show ending. The daytime TV space is changing, and Sherri's rise is inseparable from the Wendy Williams show. We all remember when Sherri was a recurring guest host during Wendy Williams' health hiatus and was officially given Wendy's 10 a.m. spot. Once it was obvious Wendy wouldn't be ready to come.
Sherri Shepherd's fall didn't begin with a headline. It began with a whisper inside a boardroom. For 4 seasons, her name sat comfortably in the 10 a.m. slot. The bookings were impressive cultural giants, political royalty, hip-hop heavyweights. The ratings weren't record-shattering, but they were stable, respectable, strong enough to survive in a daytime landscape that devours the weak. Compared to other talk shows fighting for oxygen, Sherri's numbers held their own. On paper, nothing looked broken. Behind the scenes, though, confidence can be dangerous. Sources say Sherri believed renewal was inevitable. Not just a 5th season, multiple seasons. Longevity, security, a permanent seat at the daytime table. Insiders claim she began negotiating from a position of strength, asking for more money, more flexibility, fewer filming days. She wanted room to return to acting, to comedy, to expand her brand beyond a single stage. To her, it wasn't ambition. It was evolution. Then the call came. DeMar Mercury executives framed the cancellation as strategic. An evolving television landscape, they said. Creative momentum. Belief in Sherri. Carefully polished language designed to soften the blow. They insisted it wasn't about failure. Not about talent. Not about effort. But shows that are thriving rarely disappear overnight. The cancellation wasn't described as mutual. It wasn't celebratory. Those close to Sherri say she was blindsided, that negotiations were active, conversations ongoing, expectations high. And then suddenly silence. A door closed without warning. Yet one voice, watching from a distance, claims none of this was surprising. Wendy Williams. According to Wendy's camp, the writing was on the wall from the beginning. They argue Sherri's show was never born out of long-term vision. It was born out of necessity. A temporary solution to an unexpected crisis. When Wendy's health began to decline, guest hosts rotated through her iconic slot. Sherri was one of them. Her appearances were well received. Warm. Approachable. Safe. Safe was exactly what the network needed. When Wendy was placed under guardianship and her return became uncertain, the network made its move. Sherri was offered her own show. Same time slot. Same production ecosystem. Even the digital footprint shifted, social media handles transformed, followers redirected. The transition was swift, almost surgical. And the announcement? It happened on Wendy's own stage. To some, it felt symbolic. To others, strategic. A seamless transfer of power presented as opportunity. But critics quietly questioned whether the brand could truly be replicated. The format echoed familiar rhythms. The energy attempted familiarity without chaos. The edges were smoothed. The unpredictability restrained. It wasn't scandalous. It wasn't explosive. It was controlled. Industry observers now wonder if that was the flaw. Daytime audiences are loyal, but they're also addicted to authenticity, even when it's messy. Especially when it's messy. Now Sherri's show is gone. Executives promise to explore other platforms. Corporate optimism lingers in press statements. But the flagship has been pulled from its harbor. And somewhere in New York, Wendy Williams is reportedly preparing for a return. If this was a temporary replacement all along, the question isn't why Sherri was canceled. The real question is whether the throne was ever truly hers.
Starting in September, I am debuting my own talk show, Sherri! I am so excited because I am going to be joining the Debmar Mercury family. That is the company that produces this show and several others that you love.
It wasn't a smooth handoff. It was a calculated extraction. The network didn't simply launch a new program. They installed Sherri directly into the 10 a.m. stronghold that Wendy had dominated for years. Same time. Same production DNA. Even the online empire shifted without ceremony. Wendy's social platforms were quietly transformed, handles updated, followers absorbed into a new brand identity as if audience loyalty could be transferred like office furniture. The audience saw through it immediately. From the first episode, the parallels were glaring. The entrance beats felt rehearsed from memory. The pacing echoed a familiar rhythm. Signature segments appeared with minor cosmetic changes, polished just enough to feel different, but close enough to feel intentional. It resembled a reconstructed monument, recognizable, but missing its most defiant feature. No purple throne. No sharp-edged greeting that once cut through the room like a siren. Behind studio walls, tension simmered. Sources claim Wendy viewed the shift as more than replacement. She saw it as replication. Before her health crisis forced her away, attendance had never been her weakness. She showed up relentlessly. She built that hour into a cultural checkpoint. Now it seemed reformatted, streamlined, made safer. Then a remark surfaced that hardened everything. Sherri reportedly suggested it was better for Wendy to remain home and be cared for given her condition. To some, it sounded practical. To others, it felt dismissive. Inside this silent rivalry, that statement didn't calm the fire. It accelerated it.
Well, so there's just a lot going on in Wendy's life that this is where you need your friends, where you need your family. You need people who love you. So all I can do over here is pray.
Wendy's version of events paints a very different picture, one where the rivalry wasn't accidental, but engineered. According to people in her circle, Wendy never declared war. She claims she asked for a conversation, a private sit-down, a chance to clear the air without cameras, without headlines. But instead of reconciliation, she says she was met with accusations, whispers that she was bitter, that she was threatened, that she couldn't stand seeing someone else thrive in her hour. Jealousy. That word lingered. To Wendy, it wasn't just insulting, it was strategic. Branding her as envious reframed the narrative. It shifted sympathy. It painted the fallen queen as resentful rather than displaced. And once that storyline took root, the tension hardened into something colder. Now the tables have turned. Sherri's show is gone. No farewell victory lap. No triumphant renewal announcement. Just a sudden cancellation that landed like a slammed door. Wendy, observers say, isn't celebrating publicly, but privately, she's calling it karma. Not revenge. Not sabotage. Karma. A delayed reckoning for how she believes she was handled, replaced, and quietly erased. And as for a revival? Insiders close to production circles suggest that hope may be unrealistic. Daytime television rarely resurrects a show once advertisers recalibrate and affiliates shift strategy. Waiting for a reversal could mean waiting indefinitely. The deeper issue, however, was never imitation. It was identity. Sherri was never required to become Wendy 2.0. In fact, executives reportedly encouraged differentiation. The mandate was simple. Give audiences a reason to show up every morning. Build habit. Build loyalty. Build curiosity strong enough that viewers felt compelled to tune in daily just to see what might unfold. But curiosity thrives on unpredictability. Critics argue that while Sherri delivered warmth and professionalism, she avoided volatility. The sharp edges were softened, the confrontational moments diluted. Where Wendy once thrived on discomfort, leaning into awkward silences, daring reactions, unscripted shock, Sherri favored caution. And caution, in a genre fueled by spectacle, can flatten momentum. Financially, the show wasn't hemorrhaging. It maintained stability. It covered costs. But stability isn't always enough for networks accustomed to explosive returns. When Wendy occupied that chair, the revenue ecosystem was different. Higher ad rates, louder buzz, stronger cultural imprint. Executives had grown used to impact, not equilibrium. Sources close to Wendy insist they never believed the replacement would be permanent. No one does what Wendy does, one insider reportedly said. Not because others lacked talent, but because her formula was uniquely combustible, part instinct, part audacity, part willingness to say what others rehearsed privately. Now industry chatter suggests producers are reassessing. Quiet meetings, budget projections, contingency strategies. There's talk that the network is exploring pathways to restore what they once had, not replicate it, but revive it. If that happens, this won't just be a comeback story. It will be a reclamation. And in daytime television, reclamation is rarely gentle.
My goal right now, and the priority, is to get her back home. Wherever home is, not there. Which come go as she pleases.
Right here in New York, where I'm working, and you know what kind of stuff I want to do. As a matter of fact, we just met somebody very familiar with. Well,
she wants to get back to work, and she should get back to work.
Right.
People
And
love
we miss
her.
you.
I get more calls in support of her than I've ever had for any client, ever.
The clock is ticking, and if insiders are right, the countdown has already begun. Sources claim Wendy Williams could be released from her guardianship within the next 90 days, and the network isn't waiting around. Executives are reportedly orchestrating a return so strategic, so calculated, that it feels less like a comeback and more like a coronation. Sherri's exit wasn't random. It cleared the runway. Industry whispers suggest Wendy has already secured a new place in New York, quietly preparing for production the moment the current show fades to black this fall. And here's the twist that has people stunned. Every demand once denied is allegedly being handed back to Wendy on a silver platter. Bigger budget, expanded staff, creative control. Even members of Sherri's former team are rumored to be transitioning over. And that purple chair? It's not just returning. It's being redesigned. Custom-built so Wendy can glide onto the stage, commanding attention without saying a word. Symbolism matters. This isn't just set design. It's a statement. There are also reports of private apologies. Regret from the top. A recognition that the dismissal may have been mishandled. Public sympathy for Sherri exists, but anticipation for Wendy's return is louder. Social media is already choosing sides. Some call it redemption. Others call it ruthless. One thing is undeniable. If Wendy steps back into that spotlight, daytime television will not be the same. This isn't nostalgia. It's unfinished business. The throne may have been borrowed. Now it looks like it's being reclaimed. The only question left is simple. When she says, "How you doing?" again, will the industry survive the answer?